So we're here to close out this last days of summer week with a killer Sudoku by Prasanna Seshadri. The theme "It's Tea Time" refers to these 8 tetrominoes around the grid, and we'll see those are a key place to start. We've got a pretty small value of the 11, which has to be 1, 2, 3, and 5. But even these 12s, which can be 1, 2, 3, 6, or 1, 2, 4, 5, they don't allow a 9 or 8 near them. So this is the last spot in this row for a 9. This has to be an 8 versus a 7, same kind of reasoning. We've got these 8 cells that add up to 24, and the 6 that are in the first column add up to 21. So we have a 1, 2, 1, 2 left over, and the same thing will be true about this top row and these. So we get a 1, 2 pair over in this cell. 7, 9 are going to have to be in these places. Let's come to the right side, which we haven't looked at yet. Where does a 9 go in this column? Well, 9 isn't in this 14 cage, so it's got to be here. Let's now see where does an 8 go in this column. If an 8 is in this space, it's now going to be pairing with 1, 2, and 3 to make this 14 work. And we already have this limitation of 1, 2, 3, 5. So this cell will have to be where the 4 goes, the only cell left for it, as well as where the 6 goes, only cell left for it. So that's never going to work out. So 8 isn't in this 14 cage. The 8 is down here. 4 and 6 will be digits in this sum, and 2 and 5 will be digits in this column in this 11, so that means this will be a 1, 3. This will also be a 1, 3 with another 1 or 3 completing out those spaces. So there's still a fair amount we can then do. One thing is first to see this 9, 8 is going to be a pair in these remaining cells, means this is a 4, 5 here. This top right box needs a 5 somewhere, so that 5 will be here, which means this is the 1, 2, 4, 5, which means this is 1, 2, 3, 6. With 1, 2, 1, 2 marked, that means 3, 6 go here, 1, 2 goes here. This is pretty tricky, but it means 4, 5 is remaining here, it means this is also then a 1, 2. This 4, 4, 5 start to now actually limit this whole row, so like this can't be a 4 here, but I don't know that there's more we can do with that just yet. Let's come back to some big digits. We haven't really looked at these center cages at all, but if 9 is seeing a 16 in 2 cells, we need to then have the 9, 7 split this way as that 4 sum. 9 is going to be in one of these spaces. This center is 9 and 18 is 27. Another 9 is 36. So these 2 cells add up to 9. So if this were a 9, this means that's a 2, means that's a 7. That's not going to work. So we have to dodge this cell for the 9, so we don't have a conflict with the value here. So 9 goes here. Means this is 9, 7, means this is 9, 8. Got to get a 9 in one of these 2 cells, but it's not part of a 13 cage. And this will be the last space for 9 in the grid. Let's come to some other values we then have. So we have to get another 7 down here. And that 7, if it's part of this 13 cage, would mean these remaining digits are 1, 2, 3. So where does 4, 6 go in this box? Well, the only places it can still take a 4 or 6 is a single cell. We can't have that work out. So if this were a 7, the grid would break down because you can't complete that space. So 7 is here. That means 4 and 6 do go into these cells somewhere, and this will be a 1, 2. Do we know more than that right now? I guess we then know a 3 is certainly in these cells. But right now, some of this note tracking is a little tricky, so I want to be careful there. Let's take this 7 across to the left of the grid and also recognize it's going to interact with this 8. So right now the 8 can't be in the 13, so the 8 has these 2 cells for it. And the 7 has these 2 cells left for it. So let's again think about if this 7 is part of the 13 sum, how is that going to work? Well, in this case, we'd have 1, 2, 3 with this 7. That now means that in this group, and this group has a 3, 6 in it, like where do the 4, 5, and 8 go? These cells can have the 8, these cells can have the 4, these cells can have the 5, but these are the only 2 cells for 3 digits. Again, it's going to break down for the reasons we're talking about. So the 7 can't be in the 13 cage, the 7's up here in the 12, which means this is a 5. Last space for a 5 in this box is now this cell, so we can cancel some stuff out over here. 5 is going to come down then to the lower right, sorry, lower left cage as part of this 13. This is the last space for an 8. So we also now have a 4 somewhere in this group. That adding of 9 means this will be a 1, 3 with another 1, 3. That looks okay. But this 4 and this 4 mean a 4 is here, and this 8 and this 8 also mean an 8 is here. 489 sums to 21. It's in this column with a 30 clue. What digits can still take? 2 7s, no good because of the column. 3 6 is possible. 4 5, already got a 4. 1 8, already have an 8. So this is 3 6. That means that the only space for a 6 in this bottom right box is there. Get a 4 then in this column with a 1 2, but it also means the 5 in this column has to be in this cell, so not here. 1 2, we still then have a 4 in one of these cells. Maybe can't do more with that yet, but actually put in this 8. This has to be a 5. That means this is a 5, this is a 4. 7 is over here. But on the bottom, the 7 is right here, so this is a 7, this is a 7. Means a 6 is in one of these two cells. Looks like one of the things we're going to want to do is figure out how we get some valid values in this space, and let's sort of take out that this is a 3 6 because it's not actually forcing the pair. It could be a 1 2 3 6. What we do know is actually the 6 in this cage is always in these cells, but this 6 coming across, this is the last spot for a 6. So we have 1 2 3, 1 2 3. This is a better way to mark that whole cell. This will also be a 1 2 3. The 3 is always here, so this cell can only be a 1 2. So we're getting some good progress from thinking this way. Let's still come back, and maybe it's thinking about sums in this middle space. So where will the key digits sort of come through? We've got a 5 that's going to be in one of these 3 cells, but that doesn't look like it's immediately helpful. This 18 could be 6 and 5. It could be 8 and 3. It's not going to take a 4, so maybe the question is, where is a 4 in this row? That actually looks pretty good. So 4 is not here. 4 with 7 can't go there. 4, 7, 7 can't go there. So this is the only space for a 4. So that eliminates this spot. That means this 4 has to go here, puts a 4 here, puts a 1 2 now here. And so this finally forces a 3. Which will force this as a 1, force a 2, and a 1, and a 2, and a 1, and a 1, and a 2, and this to be a 2. This is a 3 with a 2. We've got the remaining digits here will be 1 and 6. Puts a 2 in this space. We now have 18 with 12 more to go. 8 and 4 is possible for that, but not anything else. So 4, 8 here puts as a 4 to that spot, which is pretty good. And that 8 up above means the last space for an 8 is in one of these 2 cells. So let's see if we can figure out which of those is possible. This 8 would put a 3, this 8 would put a 3. Those both look okay, but in either situation, 8, 3 will put another 3 here. This no longer can be a 3. This has to be a 1. Puts in a 3. The 1 up at top means this has to be a 3. This cage has 4 2 left in it, so this is a 1. This 4 coming from the left means this is 2 with 4 above, means this is a 5. So this finishes with a 1. We've got 6 2, but 2 is already above, so it's a 2 of 6. Puts a 2 in here. 1 is not able to be in this 9 sum, so this is 2 3 4. And the 3s are forced. Got 8 6 to go up top, but 6 is already down below, so 6 8. That means this is 6, this is 5, this is 8, this is 3. Means this is 6 and 3. Got 1 in the center box. This is 4 with 8 to the right to finish that out. This 4 means this is 4 below, 8 above. Got 6 5 here. Moves this 6 3, and over on the right we have 5 8 to finish the grid. So we cracked all the way through this T-time puzzle. It was a really great construction with these outer constraints through the tetrahedronos, forcing some minimum digit sets, forcing some tension with 1 2 and 1 3 pairs, and we really then had to work through the center of the grid and place on these larger digits to figure out how we'd eventually force the rest of the puzzle. So hope you enjoyed parts of this video. Certainly if you struggled with this killer Sudoku, this was quite the workout. So the steps shown here will hopefully give you some tips and tricks for the future. We'll see you again soon.